The worst day of my life started at 2:47 p.m. on a Friday, standing in my childhood bedroom, staring at an email that would destroy everything I'd built. My hands were shaking so badly, I nearly dropped my phone. But the worst part wasn't the betrayal itself. It was realizing my own mother had orchestrated it, and my sister had helped her execute it. For 3 years, I'd blamed myself. Turns out, I was never the problem. Let me back up. I'm 32 years old, and I've spent the last 8 years building my event planning company from nothing. I started in my studio apartment with a laptop and a dream, grew it to a team of 12 employees, and finally landed the contract that would change everything. The Henderson Foundation, $1 million charity gala, the kind of event that gets you featured in magazines, that makes your career untouchable. I called my mom first. Stupid, right? After everything? But she was my mother. I wanted her to be proud. "That's wonderful, sweetheart," she said, her voice doing that thing where it sounds warm but there's ice underneath. "You know your sister Penelope just got promoted to VP at her firm, right? Maybe you two could finally have something in common to talk about." There it was, the comparison. Penelope, the golden child, corporate lawyer, married to a surgeon, 2 perfect kids, living in the house my parents helped them buy while I was still renting. But I pushed it down. I always did. "Maybe we could all have dinner to celebrate?" "Oh, honey, we're actually having dinner with Penelope and her family this weekend. Perhaps another time." 3 days later, I saw the Instagram photos. The whole family at Penelope's house. My younger cousins, my aunt, even my grandmother. Everyone except me. Here's what I didn't understand yet. This wasn't random. This was strategic. My business partner Brianna noticed it first. We were in the office, going through vendor contracts for the Henderson Gala, when she looked up from her laptop. "Can I ask you something? And don't get defensive." I laughed. "That's a great start to a question." "Your family never shares your posts, never comment on your wins. But I see your sister's pictures everywhere on your mom's Facebook. Have you ever noticed that?" My stomach did this uncomfortable twist. "They're just not social media people. Your mom posted 17 times last month, all about Penelope." I counted once after that conversation. In 3 years, my mother had mentioned my business exactly twice on social media. Penelope's achievements? Over 200 posts. But I told myself it didn't matter. I didn't need their validation. I had my own success. Then the Henderson Gala started falling apart. It started small. The venue I'd booked for 8 months suddenly lost our reservation. The caterer I'd worked with for years mysteriously doubled their prices 3 weeks before the event. My deposit with the lighting company vanished. They claimed they never received it, despite my bank records showing otherwise. I was working 18-hour days, fighting fires, replacing vendors, hemorrhaging money to fix problems that shouldn't exist. Brianna found me crying in the supply closet at 11 p.m. on a Thursday. "This isn't normal," she said quietly. "Someone's sabotaging you." "That's paranoid." "Is it?" Think about it. All of this happening to one event? These are vendors you've worked with forever, and suddenly they're all acting shady? I wanted to dismiss it, but she was right. The timing was too perfect. The problems are too coordinated. Then I got the email. The one at 2:47 p.m. on Tuesday, from the Henderson Foundation. "We regret to inform you that we've become aware of reviews regarding your company's reliability. We've decided to move forward with another planner. As per contract clause 12B, since this is a termination for cause, your deposit is non-refundable. $25,000. Gone. Plus the hundreds of hours of work, plus the reputation damage." I called the foundation director immediately. "What reviews? We have a 4.9-star rating across every platform." Her voice was uncomfortable. We received some emails, former clients with significant complaints. What clients? Forward them to me. I'm not at liberty to forward them to me. She sent 3 emails from addresses I didn't recognize, but the writing style, something about it nagged at me. Then I saw it. In the second email, a phrase, lack of professional courtesy and familial warmth. Familial warmth? Who uses that phrase? Who even thinks in those terms? I opened my laptop and searched my mother's Facebook. It took me 12 minutes to find it. A post from 2 years ago about a family reunion. So grateful for family gatherings filled with warmth and professional grace. My blood went cold. I started digging. Created a fake email address and contacted the former clients, claiming I was considering hiring my company and wanted to discuss their experiences. 2 bounced back, invalid addresses. The third one responded, and I recognized the writing immediately. The excessive formality, the way sentences were structured, the vocabulary choices. It was my sister, Penelope. I sat there, staring at my screen, unable to breathe. My own sister had created fake client complaints to destroy my career. But why? What had I ever done to her? I showed up at my parents' house unannounced on Sunday. Family dinner was in progress. I could hear laughter through the door. My mother answered, her smile freezing when she saw me. "Oh, sweetheart, we weren't expecting. We need to talk. All of us." I walked past her into the dining room. Penelope sat at the head of the table, where I used to sit as a kid. My father at the other end. My grandmother beside Penelope, beaming at something she'd said. The laughter died. "So," I said, my voice surprisingly steady, "which one of you want to explain why you've been systematically destroying my business?" Penelope's face. God, I'll never forget it. Just for a second, pure panic. Then it smoothed into concern. "What are you talking about? Are you feeling okay?" "I have the emails, Penelope. The fake client complaints. I tracked the IP addresses. They came from your office." My mother stood up. "This is absurd. Penelope would never—" "Mom, stop!" I turned to her. "I know you helped. The vendors who suddenly had problems? I called them back, asked specific questions. 3 of them mentioned receiving calls from someone claiming to be my concerned mother, warning them I was unreliable." The silence was deafening. My father cleared his throat. "Perhaps we should discuss this calmly." "Calmly?" The word exploded out of me. "You all conspired to ruin my career, to bankrupt my company, and you want calm?" "You don't understand." My mother's voice was sharp now, defensive. Penelope was up for a partnership. The other candidates were all men. She needed every advantage. I stared at her. What does that have to do with me? The senior partner's wife was looking for an event planner. If Penelope could deliver that connection, show she brought value beyond just her legal work. She trailed off. "So you destroyed my reputation to make Penelope look good by recommending her friend instead?" "It's called strategy, sweetie," Penelope said, and her voice was condescending, like I was a child who didn't understand how the real world worked. "I needed that partnership. You have a small business. I have a career. There's a difference." Something in my chest cracked. "I can't believe you're actually admitting this." My grandmother, my sweet grandmother who used to sneak me cookies, shook her head sadly. "Dear, you've always been so sensitive. Penelope is simply more ambitious, more driven. Perhaps this is a sign you should consider more stable career path." I left. Didn't yell, didn't cry. Just walked out. Brianna found me sitting in my car 2 hours later, still parked outside my parents' house. "They did it," I said. My whole family. They destroyed my business because it helped Penelope's career. She didn't say anything, just held my hand while I finally cried. The next week was dark. I had to tell my employees we were shutting down. 12 people I'd hired, trained, and built relationships with, all losing their jobs because my family wanted me to fail. The worst part? Half of them had families, kids, mortgages. I'd failed them. Or so I thought. Brianna came to my apartment on a Friday night with wine and a laptop. Stop wallowing. We're going nuclear. What? Your family wants to play dirty? Let's show them what dirty actually looks like. Legal dirty. She opened her laptop. On the screen, a legal document she'd been drafting. Tortious interference with business relationships, defamation, fraud. We have evidence of all of it. I can't sue my family. Watch me. She pulled up another file. Also, I sent your story to every business journal and event planning publication I could find. Anonymized, of course. But the Henderson Foundation? They got named. Brianna, what did you... They terminated your contract based on fraudulent complaints. That's legally actionable. Against them and against whoever submitted the complaints. My phone rang. Unknown number. Hello? Is this the owner of Elevate Events? A woman's voice, professional. My name is Josephine Montgomery. I'm the editor of Modern Business Review. We received an anonymous tip about some extremely unethical business practices involving corporate sabotage. I'd like to verify some details. I looked at Brianna. She grinned. The article ran 3 days later. They didn't use my name, but they used the Henderson Foundation's name. And they used enough details that anyone in the industry would know exactly what happened. The fallout was immediate. The Henderson Foundation's board launched an investigation. Turned out, the director who terminated my contract had a personal relationship with the event planner they'd hired instead, and was receiving kickbacks. My case exposed it. She was fired. The foundation issued a public apology, offered to reinstate my contract with triple the original budget as compensation. But here's the beautiful part, the karma part. Penelope's law firm found out what she'd done. How? The article mentioned that the sabotage involved a legal professional creating fraudulent documents. One of Penelope's colleagues read it and recognized the details from office gossip. Her firm investigated, found the emails from her work computer. The IP addresses matched. Creating fraudulent client complaints is, as it turns out, an ethics violation. A big one. Penelope didn't just lose the partnership. She lost her license to practice law, suspended for 3 years, pending full disbarment. My mother called me 67 times in 1 day. I know because I counted the notifications before blocking her number. Then the text started, from my father. Your sister is devastated. This has destroyed her career. How can you be so vindictive? Families are supposed to support each other. After everything we've done for you, this is how you repay us? I responded once. You destroyed my business and put 12 people out of work because it was convenient for Penelope's career. You don't get to talk about family support. Lose my number. My grandmother tried to show up at my apartment. I watched through the peephole as she knocked for 10 minutes, calling my name, saying we needed to talk like adults. The woman who'd told me I was too sensitive to succeed. I didn't open the door. Penelope's husband filed for divorce 6 weeks later. Apparently, he hadn't known about any of it, and when he found out his wife had systematically destroyed her sister's livelihood, he was done. My parents tried to blame me for that, too. The Henderson Foundation Gala was incredible. We pulled it off with 3 months to plan instead of the original timeline, but my team, expanded back to 15 people now, executed it perfectly. raised $2.3 million for children's literacy programs, got featured in 6 major publications. My company's booking requests tripled. But you know what felt better than success? The email I got from one of my employees, a single mom named Francesca, who I'd had to let go during the shutdown. I just wanted to say thank you, not just for rehiring me, but for fighting back. My daughter asked me why I was sad when I lost my job, and I told her sometimes people do bad things. But then you fought back, and I got to tell her that sometimes the good guys win. She needed to see that. I needed to see that. I cried reading that. The good kind of crying. 6 months later, I got a letter. From my mother. I almost threw it away without reading it. But curiosity won. I've had time to reflect on what happened. Your father and I are entering counseling. Penelope is struggling, but perhaps that's necessary. I don't expect forgiveness. I'm not sure I deserve it. But I want you to know that I see now what we did. And I'm sorry. No but. No justification. Just sorry. I haven't responded. Maybe I will someday. Maybe I won't. Here's what I learned. Sometimes the people who are supposed to love you will hurt you worse than strangers ever could. They'll use your trust as a weapon. They'll sacrifice your dreams for their convenience. And sometimes, the universe has a way of balancing the scales. My business is thriving. My team is loyal. I sleep well at night knowing I built something real, something that doesn't require tearing others down. Penelope? Last I heard, she's working as a paralegal, trying to rebuild her reputation. My parents stopped reaching out after the first year. And me? I'm hosting my grandmother's 85th birthday party next month. Because she called Penelope's new employer and tried to get her fired from the paralegal job, saying she was too ethical for her own good and needed to learn consequences. Even in her 80s, she couldn't help but sabotage. Some people never learn, but I did. I learned that family isn't about blood. It's about who shows up, who fights for you, who celebrates your wins instead of weaponizing them. And karma? Karma doesn't miss. Sometimes it just takes its time getting the aim right. This story demonstrates how betrayal from those closest to you can be overcome, not through revenge, but through standing firm in your truth and letting consequences follow naturally. Sometimes the best justice is simply success.